Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. We got a special showcase happening for you guys tonight. We have Lord Fizzlebeef, Thundercloud, Burt Reynolds, and Hype Nova going to show off some of the flags from our Alpha flag set. We're running. So for those interested in the flags, we've got pretty basic enemy scripts, nothing really crazy shuffled there, but we're going to see random weapons and armor in shops. We're going to, including caster and elite gear. We're going to see, we have 20 locations incentivized, including the Ice Cave, or Castle of Ordeals, the Marsh Cave, the Sea Shrine Sky Palace, and the Canaria Treasury. We're going to give our runners a free bridge so they can walk up from Canaria to Matoya's Cave and Provoca. But in the pool mixed in with all those incentive key items is a Masamune, a defense sword, a power gauntlet, and a ribbon. As far as our scaling goes, we've got a couple map edits we're working with here. So we've got extended open progression, so we're going to be able to walk basically anywhere on the lower continent, as well as dock our ships up north on the Onrak and Lefane continent. We're going to see early Sages, early Sarda, earlier deals, so all those vanilla key item locks are going to be turned off, and we're going to have Castle Ordeals pillars shuffled as usual, and then we're going to have vanilla our boss stats 100 to 120%, so not too high, but we're going to be working with orb progressive XP. So as our runners light orbs, their XP bonuses will go up, so our runners are going to be incentivized to go into fiend dungeons, kill those fiends early before doing their grinds. And I just realized I forgot to introduce my co-commentator, Cheesinator. You want to tell the folks about the real tree going on in the scenes here?
Yes, thanks for the intro, Caleb, and covering all of our main flags. Tonight, we are showcasing the new randomizer feature on the Alpha website, programmed by community member One Fine Day. It's called Enemizer and Spellcrafter. It's two features, really. They are reimaginings of the core concepts of the game. All the enemies have been procedurally generated, and all the spells have been procedurally generated from a set of rules that define new ways that they can be created, and in general give a much wider palette of variety for what you can expect to encounter throughout the seed.
Yeah, and just like that, we're going to have our runners go off, and we're going to see what kind of wackiness our Spellcrafter created in the Canaria town.
Some examples of what we're going to be seeing are more types of elemental spells that can roll into AoE, single target, and span levels 1 through 8. So in the white shop, we already see a Vox spell, an AI spell, an invisibility spell, and a ruse spell. In our black shop, we have a... You're going to have to give us some time to work with these. An ice spell, a fire spell, and two others I'm going to have to look up real quick.
Well, it looks like we got Avox, which is sort of an A-mute sort of spell, if my knowledge of Spellcrafter is accurate. We also have OFD is in the booth with us as sort of like our go-to subject matter expert. So what would exactly Avox do for our runners, OFD?
Avox is a power word mute spell. It works like Quad Axe or Blind or what you'd expect, but it inflicts mute instead of paralysis or death or slit or blind or whatever.
So what about that Invis 8 at level 1? Chat's calling out that it's a full party max evade. Is that...
That's basically it.
Wow.
And they also got Ice 8 as well. So these players got really good spells to start. You can see on Thunderclaw's screen, Ice 8 does a ton of damage.
Wow, yeah, there's 478 damage on that Ice 8 cast. So high level ice damage going out. It's gonna definitely make this seed pretty sweet coming on early. The Garland sprite is a troll, which if my knowledge of the Enemizer is accurate, that means that troll sprite will not be in the pool for encounters.
Well, I think I think it will. I'm not sure if it will or not. I think it will actually be because of how I've done it. But Garland being a troll or ghost does not confer any special stats on Garland. But any other enemy, any normal enemy, each enemy type, a ghost or a troll or an imp, has particular traits associated with that enemy.
Okay.
So there is some consistency. Generally, what you would see in vanilla, what you would expect an enemy to be in vanilla, is about what you would get from a randomly generated enemy. For example, all undead are weak to harm, weak to fire.
Got you. So early on, Princess and King of Canaria give us a key and a canal, so that allows our runners to immediately check the Canaria locked location, and we get a boat in a box. So just like that, we got a free ship, we've got a canal, we've got a key, and we've got the world to open up at our fingers. So that MM5, what does that spell do?
That is Magic Missile 5. It is a single target, non-elemental damage spell. Normally it is only available to black mages, but because we retain old permissions, this means that players will be able to learn whatever was in that, whatever permissions were for that slot in vanilla. So Red Mage gets the first and third slots of level 1, everything in level 2, etc.
Perfect. So Cheese, you're running this seed. You got your ice damage AoE. You've got a boat. You've got a canoe, and you've got a key. Where do you go?
I'm going to do a pretty traditional pass through the inner continent's easily available NPCs and chests. So opening up all the locked boxes, obviously taking care of pirates like we see Bert and Lord Fizzlebeef going to do right now. Just seeing what kind of key items I'm working with and if any quick loose items pop up before making decisions about where to go next.
Let's talk a little bit about party comp, Cheese. Burt Reynolds running Thief White Double Black. That is not a common party comp. Burt, a early subscriber to the Thief meta. How do you feel about Thief at these flag sets? Cheese.
This particular flag set, there's a lot up in the air, so I don't want to make a call about how effective Thief will be yet. What I want to focus on for now is the mages. So I think as part of experiencing the showcase, we've got 2 runners on stream who took rainbow parties, and everyone has at least a white mage other than Lord Fizzlebeef. That'll help them see the range of what's available from levels 1 to 8 in with all of these new options available. Lets them experiment, lets them maybe get access to super powerful tier 7, tier 8 spells more often.
Wow, we've got Meteor 8, Meteor 8, and Lock 2, so it looks like Quick 3. Now, if my knowledge of Spellcrafter is accurate, that Quick 3, that's going to be like Saber, a self-casting, fast type spell.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. And Meteor 8 is Earth Elemental AoE damage. Lock 2 is, well, Lock, pretty low level Lock, and Ice 2 is the low level Ice spell. Not particularly useful given what we have at our disposal.
But we also saw Opal bracelets for sale, and they weren't that expensive at about 18k, so... And Hype's just looking in the river, just kind of figuring out what he's going to do, I guess.
Yeah, it should definitely be stressed that when you have elite gear available in shops, party comp differences kind of wash away because you end up being able to get so much good armor and weaponry for everyone in your party, regardless of whether it's a fighter or not, that you can kind of paper over some of the weaknesses of non-fighter classes.
And I think what Nova's doing here is he's writing stuff down, he's checking his notes, because these flags, these features in the game are new, not just to you viewers, but it's also kind of new for the runners here. They're coming in here, they want to have some fun and try something different. And you're seeing Peds in the water, eyes in the water, all sorts of fun stuff going on with the Enemizer as Thundercloud digs out a Opal bracelet, and we've got Rangers. That's fun.
Yeah, so you can see enemies where the sprite normally makes you think, oh god, this is like some late game enemy pack and it should instill fear in our hearts, but everything's got sort of a broad range it can fall into, so these Rangers are just sort of like low-level, kind of scaled to their region versions of the Batman and the Evil Men.
So, Fizzle and Bert kind of doing the same thing, checking the Dwarf Cave, Thunder checking the key lock and TOF, which with the better trap treasured flag on, is definitely going to We saw the opal bracelet, definitely helpful, and Fizzle getting his hoorays in. Gotta love the hooray dwarf check.
Yeah, the treasure pool has been randomized, so we won't be able to predict how many of any specific type of unique item falls into it. There's a dragon sword was found. We could find 4 more dragon swords. All we know is the general level of the wealth. The wealth is a normal, so it should be approximately as powerful as the vanilla pool.
Yep. So we have already found a single. We found a Vorpal and Matoya's, and Thunder also finding value in that lower right chest in TOF and getting a ribbon, and Bert's going to get the same thing here. So Bert going to end up with the opal bracelet and a ribbon for his troubles. But there's a slight pause when he sees the Badman sprite and has to remember that this is Enemizer, and Enemizer, now correct me if I'm wrong, OFD, but it will sort of scale more effectively based on the regions of the world and the dungeons. Is that correct?
Yes, formations are generated in one of 11 zones, based on there are 11 zones where formations can fall into, and each zone has a range of experience where it is the minimum experience that it will give in a fight, the maximum experience it can give, and then there's a median range that it tends to aim for. But still, these rangers, they are naturally 2 or sometimes 3 hitting enemies, so even if they're low level, there is some danger without armor.
Okay. And we have a question in chat. What is the Warmech setting for this seed? Warmech is patrolling. So how does that's a good question for in my mind, OFD. How does Enemizer interact with Warmech and the Fiends? What can our runners expect when they get into the bottom of Volcano or into the Temple of Fiends?
Well, boss monsters like Warmech and the Fiends are not affected by Enemizer, except in the ways that it has to for the feature to work. Spellcrafter has some effect on it. For example, the spell list of the Fiends have to change, but skills in Spellcrafter are what they were in Vanilla, and they are on the same enemy slot that there would be in Vanilla. So the enemy that replaces Agmas will have heat. And then go on.
So does this mean we can expect, for example, Crack from Chaos?
Yes, Chaos will open with Crack in his skill list.
Wow. Okay, we're great. So our runners with the vanilla knowledge of the boss fights will... Oh, if Hypes Nova, player after my own heart, doing the full tour of Provoca. I love the Provoca town. I can respect
the early
Walker
victory lap, I love it.
Yeah. We got meteorite. Yeah.
While we've got a little bit of time where we're crisscrossing some of the same locations, I want to talk more about how the seed is shaping up. So this is a showcase, and there's a lot to learn. So in order to not intimidate players right off the bat with an inherently challenging seed on top of learning all the new spells and enemies, we actually have a very forgiving magic pool. By shuffling the levels in Spellcrafter, you actually take away some of the balance that's built into Spellcrafter. On average, spells are more powerful. They have a broader range of capability than Vanilla. This is by design. So the fact that we got Inv 8, which is all-party max evasion, you're only supposed to get charges for that at like level 8 and be White Wizard or Black Wizard locked for those sorts of power levels. Today we had level 1 Red and White learnable Invis 8.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make... So, the seed can still be challenging, though. We did find the one ribbon. That might be that incentivized loose ribbon, but our first look at level 4 magic set. Ruse 2, Dia 5, Pure 1, and MDL 6?
Model 6. That is Power Word Confuse.
Oh.
Not necessarily the best thing to find, considering what else you have available, but doesn't look like there's much there. Oh, Fast 4 is great to find at level 4.
Is that going to be an AoE fast spell?
No, it's going to be single target fast.
Okay.
There's haste. Is there something like different fast or haste that's full party? Isn't it just high level?
Yes, it's at level 7 and 8. Any fast spell at 7 and 8 is multi-target.
So because we saw fast 4, will we see a fast 7 or 8?
No, because the Spellcrafter is limited to drawing 2 fast spells, and we've already seen Quick, and we've already seen Quick 3 and Fast 4, so there will be no more fast spells.
What about item magic? Can you talk to us a little bit about how item magic interacts with this stuff?
Yes, so obviously with Spellcrafter, the items cannot cast what they originally cast, so the spells are reassigned. However, the Defense Sword and Power Gauntlet still cast Ruse and Saber respectively, and a Ruse and Saber spell are always drawn. Mage Staff is Fire 2, Black Shirt is Ice 2, or their equivalents in Spellcrafter. But everything else draws from a pool of spells, which is somewhat constrained, so you won't have anything like nuke staffs or anything like that, but...
Okay. Right. Checking the link chest down here in the bottom of Marsh, and he gets an Opal Shield. As he didn't really find much on the top level of Marsh.
That's a second ribbon already. Now there is a ribbon in the incentive pool, and because we don't know how many ribbons are in the randomized treasures, we won't know for sure if we found a loose ribbon or not until we potentially see a ribbon come off an NPC or not, or an incentivized chest or not.
And you can see that even though they're nothing is really challenging them right now, we are also dealing with kind of low-level enemies, and you can see their XP isn't too great either. So they're pretty consistent here. Like level 6, this is about where you would be coming into the vanilla Marsh Cave. So you can see how the Enemizer and the XP with what OFD was describing as the sort of those brackets for how XP is going to be distributed.
Ooh. Okay, well, non-ribbon wearers just got dunked on by the lit 4s coming out from the ghosts guarding the incentive chest down here.
You hate to see it. And he did not buy Dia 7. So, Hype's Nova finding an AMG stick, AMG 6 stick. What is AMG?
AMG is anti-magic, AMAG or anti-magic. It gives you a randomized set of resistances. Sometimes it is single target, sometimes it is multi-target. It's a spell that you need to figure out what it resists for it to know if it's going to be good or not. But having an AMAG staff, it's nice because it's free.
Sure. So it's like a castable selective ribbon.
It's kind of an A-rub, right?
It's kind of like A-rub, yes.
Okay. And for his efforts, Burt Reynolds is awarded a floater. So with the open progression flags on, Burt Reynolds is going to be canoeless, but our first runner in the air as that dock at the southern port of Ryukon Desert will be there for him to check as Thundercloud gets his floater, but he's going to keep digging. He's going to check these keylock chests and
yeah, this is a very generous point to already be in the air. I mean, 15 minutes for any seed is great floater time.
There were some jokes in the SRL chat about how long this was likely to take because a lot of our runners were unfamiliar with the flag sets. So I don't know if we're gonna this depending on how Topher rolls or how our Fiend dungeons roll. This doesn't feel like it's going to be the slog that our runners were expecting, so
I think we saw Hype's Nova take a wipe and is trying to get back to Elfland. I think that means he didn't get out with the floater, but not sure.
Yeah, I think only Thunder and Burt have the floater. Burt's going to turn it in and be our first runner in the air.
I take it back. Hype got he must have exited with the White Mage. The floater's in his inventory.
Perfect. So Fizzle's going to be our last runner on stream to get the floater, and I'm sure he will feel a little behind because that's typically how he rolls. He likes to feel behind even though he's usually ahead. But Thunder's being thorough. And Nova, so we got a Bio 5 stick for sale in Elfland. Now, I'm just going to guess that Bio, my knowledge of Final Fantasy, this is poison AoE damage on a stick. Is that accurate?
Poison single target damage, but it's pretty good. But considering you have Ice 8 and Meteor 8,
yeah,
probably not going to get bumped.
So we get Wall 8 and level 6, locked out to Red Wizards. Holy 8, though, I would imagine that's going to be something like akin to Fade, but maybe a little more beefed up.
Wait, the slots are just the opposite of that. The red wizard can't even learn the top one, so the red wizard will be able to get the holy 8, but only white wizard can get the
Oh, okay.
wall 8.
I thought that's what I said, but confused old men giving up their guitar in the park. Burt Reynolds gets another key item that he will need for his eventual go mode.
Yeah, we're still quite a ways away from collecting all of our go mode items, but of course the airship is going to let us run through incentive checks really quickly. We have a lot of incentive chests remaining, sea, sky, and so forth, all have yet to be checked.
So we find Heal 4 and Cure 4. I think that might give some runners pause in that Heal 4, obviously not a vanilla game. Cure 4, I would imagine, is single target, sort of mid-level heal. It's not the Cure 4 that we know and love.
Yes, that has to be Cure 3 vanilla. The Cure spells and quite a few others are always drawn, and they will always be roughly what they are in vanilla. However, in Spellcrafter, Cure spells are twice as strong, both in and out of battle, and heal spells are 33% stronger in and out of battle.
We had a question from chat regarding Revive Magic. Are the life spells that our runners find, they're still going to be only castable outside of battle, I believe. I don't know if Spellcrafter can change that.
Yes, they are exactly what they are in vanilla. Life and Life 2. And those are the only life spells that will be drawn.
Alright, we find pro rings for sale in Elfland. I don't know if we saw that earlier and just missed it. Thunder joins Burt Reynolds in the air.
So I'm kind of collecting the information we've seen so far, and I'm looking at our end game, which is of course way ahead. Maybe we're 45 minutes or so away from that. But we've got all team invisibility, all team wall capability or elemental resistance. We've got elite gear. So it seems like the only shortcoming possibly in the end game will be our team's HP and ability to withstand non-elemental attacks from the fiends.
Well, have we seen a life spell yet? Because that could be a sticking point.
We have not seen a life spell yet, but I don't think we've seen Melmon shops or any of the level 7 or 8 magic yet.
That's right, yeah. Lack of life could be an issue, so things like large enemy punches that would get through even the best of opal bracelets and so forth are still possible. Kraken's always a threat.
Burt into the ice cave as Thunder's going to do the Sarda check. This is something we haven't seen yet, so we got a chime from the man. So that's a go mode item. I wonder if Thunder remembers that the Titans are not checked, so he can walk in through the back door here, raid his pantry, get his goods out.
Yeah, that's an unusual flag for randomizer runs. We've, as a community, gotten so used to putting on the Titan's Trove that having it unlocked is actually pretty special.
And finds that the poor Titans fall on hard times. There's not much there, as Burt finds a bunch of zombie gators with stun touch. Gonna give him the business a little bit here with his 9-pack, again without any sort of Dia or fire spell. These, they're gonna resist that ice, but Ice 8, even with its high level, being resisted by these monsters is still only doing an equivalent of like probably better than Ice 3 damage still through the resist, but Fizzle taking on some whites, Nova taking some notes, and Thunderclaw doing these sort of standard, like you said, routing checks.
To note with the undead packs and sort of with the enemies more broadly, a lot of families of enemies have predictable stats. Undead will always roll sort of what you expect as the vanilla undead resistances and weaknesses, and that remains the same. Now, even though we're using spells that they're resisting, like the Ice Elemental, there's such high levels that when they're getting halved, they're still doing 100 damage.
And you saw Fizzle finding a pack of 3 steaks, and he cast meat 8 at him, so he's just throwing meat at meat, and it's a meat party on Fizzle's screen. We've got Nagas dealing out Lit 1 as Nova continues taking extensive notes regarding the magic that he's finding.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what your mindset is going into a race like this, it's a showcase, it's experimental stuff. You could be saying, I don't care how it works, I just want to win as fast as possible. Or maybe you want to take a leisurely stroll, explore the flag set, and make sure you come away from it learning something new.
Yeah, and I want to point out that these aren't our only runners running this seed. Meridian BC, one of the Final Fantasy Randomizer developers, is also running this off stream. So I know I've casually raced with Meridian a lot. I know that he's going to be sort of doing exactly that. He doesn't play these to race or go fast. He plays them to have fun. So definitely think that's what all of our runners are here to do. But at the end of the day, there's a competitive streak to a lot of these folks, so I'm sure there's gonna be bad feels when they get zonked out of a box or something and they check something. We got a Whiz Brute. It's a cool little character sprite. We got an Anti-Ice 4 axe and a Harm 2 gauntlet. So the off item magic isn't rolling great, but we know that we will see a defensive sword with a ruse spell, and that's kind of nice, even though we have that Invis 8. So.
Ooh, and speaking of incentive items, there's a loose crown up here in Cardia.
Yeah, and that goes back and
right next to the loose herb.
All right, so Fizzle just jumped about 4 hours ahead of everybody. Now they'll catch up that pretty quick, but if I get the airship, I love to go to Cardia right away, even if I don't have tail. So finding the crown, finding the herb, and those are 2 quick checks to do. Right back, fly north, hit that Elfland town, fly over, get Northwest Castle, and you can start cracking the puzzle of this seed. But can't blame them for continuing to dig here.
Yeah, the Cardia locations, they unlock with the airship, and they're full of no encounter step rooms that you can dig treasure out of. The most advantageous one is the 7 that we saw Lord Fizzlebeef check initially. The other ones aren't quite as good chests permit, but they're still pretty free, so most runners will clear them all, especially when they're looking for loose items.
Yep, and chat pointing out that the ruby is for sale, so we know that that's not required, as Nova is going to get his crown and herb nearly immediately. So the puzzle's starting to come together. What do we know we absolutely need for this seed? Well, we have the key, we have the loot. We have the chime, we have the cube.
So just the rod, right?
And the Oxyale.
Oh, right.
So we're about to find out if we're in go mode already. There's a rod, so if that crown turns to Oxyale, we're in go mode. Without a canoe, feels a little strange.
But of course, if we see a canoe come, that's this poison Soria rolled some kind of AoE poison thing and wiped most of Hype's party out. That was a powerful spell.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that Nova seems to be... So we've talked about this a few times, especially over the Duck Derby that just happened, where you're running these big group races, and you're just kind of taking a leisurely stroll through it, and you're not really seeing anything scary. And then meanwhile, everybody else in the seed is finding the arachnids with Blaze. And you just never saw it. And I think Nova is having the opposite experience, where no one else is really seeing anything, and he's just getting kind of... Like you said, he's getting bodied and dunked on by every monster that could possibly hurt him.
We got Thunder continuing to dig out the volcano. You're full clearing the Agama floor, taking those damage tiles, which do not advance the encounter table, so despite taking 1 damage per step, all of this party is safe from getting more random encounters.
So, Crown turns to Slab, and Astos is a wolf. Neat. He's a werewolf this whole time.
You could say he was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That is a very apt... Well done, Cheese. But we can immediately translate that slab and find out what this will turn into. This could turn into a fetch quest, the super long fetch quest chain, because we still haven't found any of the dwarven items. We haven't found the crystal yet.
And it's worth noting that we're not getting more experience for these fetch quests and things, which is the kind of the normal mode of operation, right? You mentioned in the opening that we've got orb scaling experience. We'll get 12.5% per. Nobody's killed a fiend yet, so the experience in the seed's going to be kind of backloaded, and it'll be interesting to see who actually spends time to grind up for Topher, or if they're just going to rely on those level 8 magics.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially while Thunder may be behind because he did not slam into the Cardia Islands and get those checks. He will have an advantage on early XP by killing Carrie here, if he's able to get past it.
Of note, again, about the experience, the base scaling is quite high at 3.4x vanilla. So if I were looking at this seed, I would think, oh wait, black belt, and then I would think again and say, oh, even a promoted black belt can't learn magic. And if you can't learn magic in this flag set, you're actually a lot worse.
Ooh, vampires have squint, and it looks like they're on the the red D tile here. So slab will turn into a canoe. So that gets us access to that incentivized ordeals location and the waterfall, both of which could be Masa defense, power bonk, possibly a ribbon, or the tail. So not necessarily guaranteed to be our required Oxyale. We still have the bottle in the pool as well, so there could be more little fetch quest sort of okie dokes still out there.
Yeah, it's been a blazing fast jet seed up to this point, but if we exhaust the known incentive locations, and we're looking for loose treasures, and we're gradually killing fiends, this could start to turn into more of your traditional, like, walk through the world, full clear for loose sort of Final Fantasy Randomizer seed.
And cats, with the man-cat sprite in the bottom floor of Volcano, wiped out Thunderclawed and killed his progression, so lost all of that, all those treasure chests that he opened, but he knows what he can skip, what he needs to, which is basically everything, unless there was a good piece of gear that I missed. He knows he can just walk down to Carry, do what he's got to do, and get that 12.5% as Bert and Hypes holding hands through the ice cave. They're almost synced up.
Yeah, and this right side chest here that Hypes just stepped on the encounter tile for is a better treasure. Unfortunately, he won't be able to make use of that katana, but Bert would be happy to find it.
Alright, and here comes one more attempt for Thundercloud to sprint through this last little hallway and not see those cats. I didn't see if the cats had anything nasty on them, and Fizzle, one of the founding members of Team Sky, is in Sky, and probably just paused for a second because there's 2 war mechs.
Yeah, the mech sprite, just like any other, is turned into a generic enemy concept that can roll a variety of stat tiers. So you have the heart attack initially, and then you're like, oh, it's just a regular robot. It might even be a nice robot.
And Invis 8 comes out, we're max evade on Carry, so as long as, and we're doing it again, so we're double maxed evade. And I don't know if Thunder knows that he doesn't need to keep casting that. So Carry with Fade 4, but we've got ribbons, and I guess Fade doesn't roll that high damage. So
yes, Fade is just AoE fairly weak for white magic.
And it looked like there was a rock shirt that Bert picked up. It was really quick. It might have been a Rouge shirt, but it looked like rock.
Yeah, rock is single target earth damage.
So Nuke 6s are coming out. They're doing about 100, not too bad. Mute 3 comes out. That's gonna kind of bum everyone out that doesn't have a ribbon on. And so those muted party members are going to just start potioning the fighter give.
Yeah, no, they can't potion. I was about to say the item routines are muted too when you're muted.
And there it is. Our Oxyale is in the ice cave. So Fizzle is probably going to waste about 10 minutes here checking chests in Sky when Sky is incentive, but Not the play he needed to make. But he could be rewarded with a Masa. But once Bert heads to the Cardia Islands, he's going to get his... Oh no, he's already got the Urban Crown. So Tracker's already ahead of me. He's in go mode at the 32-minute mark. Unsure if he knows that he's in go mode because there's still a lot out there.
Yeah, I mean, these runners are having to make a much different calculation, not just about their, technical go mode, can I complete the seed based on my key items, but like, can I win? What does winning look like with this magic and the types of spells that are in the game for the opponents as well as your own party?
Mm-hmm. And he will be rewarded with the canoe. I don't know how... I mean, that is... The canoe, while not required with this seed, is a nice convenience to have, as with trying to go into sea, you want to be able to park your airship in that little grass patch south of the caravan and not have to drag your boat all the way down there. So Bert kind of lucking into doing exactly what he needed to do, and it's a shame that his early play in ice didn't pan out, because he would have probably been in go mode maybe 5-6 minutes ago if it had paid out. And I'm curious to see how many more boxes he opens up. I think he knows.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking, so Lord Fizzlebeef is doing the early Sky play, which would be fine with a dozen key items in your inventory, and I went on about this before, but he's actually going to miss out on a ton of experience going up Sky, doing a potential full clear, without having any orb scaling.
Yeah. And that's what I was wondering, because Thunder's already got the one orb lit. He has access to Sky. Now he's got access to Rod. I'd be curious to see if he goes to Earth now and is just... Or if he's going to go open some free boxes. What's more important to Thunder right now, XP or boxes?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, even for me. I'm one of the people who likes to run competitively. Caleb, of course, as well. We both have some tournament experience. I didn't know what kind of plan I would take going into this. I didn't want to run today. I decided to talk instead. So it's like people are postulating strategies in the chat, like maybe you should go to certain dungeons first. There's so much to think about. It's hard to make that kind of plan on the fly for an experimental seed like this.
Absolutely, and that's one of those things. Like, it's what we're showcasing here is not just the Spellcrafter and Enemizer. While they are the stars of the show right now, we do have experimental flags like the Progressive Orb XP, which is a very new flag. It only really exists on the alpha site, so that's something that are not typically seen in standard racing flags, and it's something that's not prepared for. Like, how do you like, it kind of shifts the meta, so we're so used to seeds being dictated by where do I find my key items. Is it progressive per key item? Is it 5% per key item? Is it a bonus at 12 or 15 key items? Where do we go? But when it's the orbs, it's like maybe you should just go in some dungeons and kill some fiends. Stop putting it off. Because that's...
Yeah.
And Thunder's gonna... is he gonna go to Earth? I want him to go to Earth. I really do. He's got the rod. He's got meat 8. But he's gonna check these free boxes in Titans, maybe?
No, he already checked the Titans boxes. He is going... He might not have finished his slab turning yet.
Yeah, so he'll get his canoe and then probably also end up in Sky along with Fizzle. And it looks like Bert noped out of Sky. Went to the volcano.
About Bert, I wanted to get to a talking point there. Again, he's grinding on a tile, not even just walking. He's grinding on a tile with no orbs. Now, there could be some deception here, because the enemies have been rolled randomly and generated randomly in unfamiliar ways. People don't know what experience to expect out of what packs they encounter. So he might not know that this is actually quite low versus what he could be getting.
I wonder if he's picking up safety levels for carry. With bosses clamped at 100 to 120%, he knows that carry isn't going to be a pushover. Like, she's going to have some HP. It's not going to be a lot over what she typically does. But this might be that old ordeals mini grind on the zombie D, where you just burn off however many nukes you got, kill some zombies, get some free XP. So he might just be burning off his ice 8s, exit out, drop a house, and then run down and take care of carry.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And so we have bosses clamped, but all clamps aren't created equal. This is 100 to 120, which means that like carry will have no higher than 720 HP. No higher than 1.2x the vanilla attack and defense values. So this isn't the kind of clamps that inspire fear and think, oh god, like black belt time. It's just, it's a moderate increase in difficulty from vanilla.
Yeah, and I think even a clamp at 100% is something to be mindful of, because I think as runners we're so used to seeing bosses scale below their vanilla HP, and if we're talking about boss scripts that are normal, what does that mean for Lich 2 OFD? Does that mean that Lich 2 is going to open up with a high level nuke?
Lich will open up with any tier. Enemy spells are. When enemies pick a spell in their spell list, spells are rated from tier 1 to tier 5. And tier 5 includes the most damaging, effective magics in the game. So it's very likely Lich will open up with Ice 8 or Lit 8, which is a good thing because your elemental resistances will resist that.
Okay, so it's not necessarily that the boss scripts are the same for bosses, it's just kind of changed. But skills would be the same.
Skills would be the same, but spells do change because they have to change because the spellbook's changed.
Yeah.
Right, so, and to that point, the scripts themselves are not shuffled, and the script being like the percentage chance to do a spell or a skill or attack you.
Yep, in this flag set, the scripts are not shuffled, and they will always be whatever the script was in vanilla. So, Lich 2 will have a 96%, not 96%, 96 out of 128 chance.
And so, what does that mean for the Chaos Cure 4?
Chaos gets Cure 4 because Cure 4 is always rolled. So Chaos will. Go ahead.
So we saw Cure 4 in a shop, and you said that was going to be basically Cure 3. So what will Cure 4 look like to our runners?
Cure 7, because it level shuffle on, it attaches the spell's original level to the spell name. So Cure 7 is Cure 4.
And talk to me. I got one more question for you, and then we'll get back to talking about the race. So, what about touch attack? So, can Chaos roll Death Touch with Enemizer?
Well, Chaos will have his vanilla stun touch.
Okay. All right. So, Fizzle, thank you for clarifying all that stuff, OFD. I really do appreciate it. What did I miss, Cheese? What's everybody doing?
We are still clearing a lot of the same dungeons we talked about. Bert hasn't left Volcano, Fizzle hasn't left Sky. However, Thundercloud is in the Ice Cave, which will give him his go mode in short order. So I expect him to be hot on Bert's heels, especially given that he's already an orb ahead.
And here comes Fizzle with the incentive check, and it is a crystal. So we know that will just sort of waste time for him unless it leads to a Masa, I guess, would be the one thing you'd want to find here.
Yeah, Masa and Power Bonk are still prizes, right? Like, the bosses might not be weak to any of the stuff that you're casting, and your non-elemental AoE might not add up quite the same way as a vanilla nuke would, and so you're really looking for that physical damage, and without Masa or Power Bonk, it could be wanting.
Yeah, I can't speak to your strategies when it comes to Topher, Cheese, because I know you're very thoughtful and methodical with how you plan seeds and how you would plan to attack certain flag sets. I know when I find myself in Topher, I usually rely on spells to clear through the trash, to clear through the random enemy encounters where when I'm getting into my Fiendry fights, I like to rely on melee physical damage. So absolutely Masa and Power Bonk would be huge for me if I were here.
Yeah, I would say the same, honestly. I would go more magical for the first few fiends, and then skewing towards more physical for the later ones, just because of where their hit points can roll. I'm more likely to, say, fire off atomic nukes rather than any buff against Kraken to get Kraken dead as soon as possible, because the HP won't be that high.
Yeah, that's fair. And Thunder, in Go mode, don't know if he realizes it, but wants to check this waterfall as Bert lights his first orb at the 42-minute mark. Will join Thunder within the 12.5% extra XP.
Now, I looked at Lord Fizzlebeef's screen. For starters, he's got a 3-man party going, so he's getting a little bit more XP splashed onto his 3 characters. But also, he's actually up into the high teens already. One thing we might have failed to take into account is the way that the XP can roll on these Enemizer enemies in their respective game zones. This is a very late game zone, so I think he's just soaking a ton of raw enemy experience, even without it being buffed up.
And his Black Mage Meat 3 or Meat 8 is getting to feel the power of having crack. Often you only ever really see it on bosses, or I guess sandworms in the vanilla game. Maybe a couple other enemies have crack in vanilla game, but you get cake as a player in the randomizer typically, and cake is good, but cake isn't going to be that effective, and it looked like that crack 8 would put in some work. I saw it wiping out basically man cats.
Well, what Crack 8 actually does is that it's a power word kill spell, which attacks all enemies. It's Earth Elemental, so anything with less than 300 HP that is vulnerable to Earth is dead.
So Crack in this is better than cake. As Thunderclaw gets his tail, so that's kind of huge. He's running the red mage in his party, so he's going to get promoted as Bert finds the S-Mech and pauses for a second, like, wait, is this Unleashed Warmech? I thought this was Warmech patrolling, but nope, not a Warmech, just an S-Mech.
Yeah, so that the tail implications there for Thunder, that actually is kind of like getting an endgame weapon, because people have been carrying around these Excals since the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to hunt down the Maza necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. Where I don't know what the best fighter sword we've seen yet so far, unpromoted, would be. Maybe that dragon sword? Maybe have we seen like sun swords for sale or something? I feel like that was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with elite gear and random things in the shops, the pre-promotion weapon options for fighter are usually great, but sun sword to X-Cal is still an enormous upgrade.
Yeah, of course, but we have options. As Fizzle's gonna learn that sky. I always lose count of how many skies I'm saying. Isn't going to be what he wants. But, like you said, he'll get some good XP out of it. We'll probably be able to take care of Tia with the Meteor 8s, the Ice 8s. All that high-level magic should be fine. Should be fine.
It's worth just kind of counting, like, did he look at his resources when whatever level he saved at the bottom of the tower, did he meter them out to make sure he got to and through the Fiend at the top of the dungeon? And it looks like he still has plenty of magic on his Black Mage.
Mm-hmm. And Burt Reynolds doing the play that I thought Thundercloud was going to do, and he's going to go take on Lich with that rod. Thunder's dive in the Ice Cave, and Hypes is fighting Carry. So we're going to find out what... Oh, and Lich opens with Fade 4, so not quite the Ice 2, but effectively the same amount of damage.
Yeah, that was what Carry opened with, right? Fade 4?
Yeah, I think you're right. So both of our first 2 Fiend fights rolling similar scripts here. But Lich is a little chunky, but goes down to a D of 5. Ice 8 comes out on Carry, 111 damage. Heal 4 coming out. Not the best. I mean, it looked like it was going on average like 40 to 60 HP in the fight. Each of our
Thunder.
runners here in a different fiend dungeon, pointed out by chat. Yeah, that's not something you see very often.
Yeah, that speaks to the openness of the routing with how early Floater came about, and with the fact that there's sort of opposite incentives almost. You know, you've got incentive item checks in the 2 later dungeons, but the 2 earlier dungeons are the ones you want to get to first for your Orb XP, so...
Bert gonna be probably the runner to gain the most from this waterfall check with that thief turning into a ninja. We saw him pick up the katana out of the volcano, so that's huge. Like, that's in-game sword. You don't need the Masa there. You got the katana, you got the thief with the thief fixes, but thief decides to just kind of take a nap, sleep on the job. But oh, I missed life to pick up. Was that a level 6 or level 5? But doesn't matter. Burt Reynolds, thief, took a nap, and dang, the white mage picked him right back up. Said, "No, we got work to do, Will." As Thundercloud taking on Kraken, firing off the Ice 8s, the Lightning 4s, just going full ham on Kraken. And like you said, just trying to deal that magic, get rid of them. Then that Invis 8 is just... It's a warm safety blanket for our runners to have.
And that's 2 orbs lit for Thundercloud, so ties up Burt Reynolds. Seems to be going back in. Might want to dig out a bit of treasure. Oh, he's probably going for the Mermaid incentive to see if he can grab Power Bonk or something.
Yeah. I wonder if he realizes that he's Go mode. That's something we're going to have to ask our runners as they finish here. Because it's such a unique flag set that tracking spells and tracking incentives, especially with that incentivized ribbon, where we found 2, but are they incentive? Or they loose? We won't know until we see an incentive location give away a ribbon.
Yeah, he's not checking any of the boxes here, so he really he's probably gunning for that gear that we know is in the defense Power Bonk Mazda ribbon. Like, any of those, if you pick those up before Topher Dive, you're happy. But he's gonna have to turn into Adamant first to see what he actually gets out of it.
Love it. Alright. And so Thunder, our only runner with the Adamant, and Fizzle, our only runner with the Crystal. I don't know if Burt or Nova will actually see them, as Burt Reynolds is heading to HR. He's going to talk to Bahamut about his promotion, as is Thunder. They're in a foot race to Bahamut.
Yeah, they're very close in all things, if you consider they're both Go mode, they're both promoting at the exact same time, they both have 2 orbs, so it's pretty comfortable to say that they're leading in every category except experience, where Fizzle Beef has the edge.
And it looked like Fizzle exited out, dropped a house, and is coming back in, as that looks like an alt final boss pack. We got Warmech, we've got the Dark Elf sprites, and we've got Evil Men sprites. Like that, I know the Enemizer kind of softens that encounter, but from a regular randomizer perspective, like, that's terrifying. Could you imagine seeing Warmech and Evil Man and like 3 fighters? We got a Saber 6 Bonklet. So Bonklet. The Adamant turns into the Power Bonk.
And we got a fully geared Knight up there, which is a pretty strong force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm. So OFD, how does Saber... I know Saber 6 means that it's a level 6 Saber spell, but what does that mean in terms of what it does? Is it still going to do the standard Saber?
It's going to do much better than the standard Saber. I think Saber 3 is the strength of the regular Saber.
Oh wow, okay, so that's huge for Thunder. So that's basically every time he casts it, would that be equivalent to like casting 2 Sabers?
Not quite, but probably like 1.5 to 2 Sabers. I'm not exactly sure what I set the strength to, but it is quite powerful.
Well, that's awesome. So, in the past few weeks, I've rolled some pretty nasty seeds for our on-screeners. Looks like I gave them a gym this time. Let's give him a playground to play in. And there's that. Oh, no. Thunder is selling stuff. I thought I saw stuff for sale. And Bert is taking another spike tile grind here. As Nova has his canoe, and we'll move on to. He needs to go to Sarda to get his chime. I don't think he's realized that he can fly to Sarda unless he's just deciding to go the long way around.
Yeah, taking a leisurely stroll through the world.
And Fizzle, I guess, didn't see the patrolling war mech and opted out to not go look for him. And I think Bert hit his 25% XP bonus with the two 12.5% orbs, and is decided to take his grind here to get that ninja some levels. He could probably get it some spell charges for that Meteor 8. And here comes Fizzle's Tia fight. One round, evade Captain Fasted. Thunder comes out. Gonna take out that Black Mage, and there goes the anti-magic stick, and I think it's time to attack here. Ice Sword swing and 8 hits 34 damage. That's not gonna cut it. Nuke 6 comes out for 98 damage. So Poison comes out. Not gonna be too scary. I think those are our 2 Ribbon Fighters. 6 hits 210 with that Ice Sword. Nuke 6 coming in at 186. So we're at about 650 damage. Nuke 6 comes in and only 17 damage, so we're at about 9,000 or 900 damage right now, and we should be getting close on Tia here. 81 low damage rolls. Blaze comes out. Tiamat going chip damage strats on Fizzle's party here. Cure 7. That looked like so Cure 7 is Cure 4. It's pretty nice to find. Ice 8. Poison comes out. And this is just a real slogfest here with Tiamat.
Yeah, they didn't have, or Fizzle's party didn't have a lot of magic charges of like super effective things. Not in like the Pokemon super effectively, but just things that actually were like really denting Tiamat. Didn't have offensive buffs because it doesn't have the Saber 6 gauntlet, and was just kind of hacking away at that 1,000 to 1,200 near vanilla HP.
Yeah, but he gets the Orblet, so he's gonna get a little bit of XP, and it looks like Bert is finished with his grind, I would hope. Because Thunder's chugging. He did his administrative work, and now he's ready to get this party going.
Yeah, the Chi-Chi trains are rolling on bottom. Though, where are the levels at right now? It looks like the levels are about the same, except that Thunder, having a fighter, already sort of has an inherent stat advantage in the top slot.
Yeah. And he's got the Saber 6 gauntlet, which is something that I don't think I don't know if any of our other runners, unless they're just being thorough, are going to go do the mermaids. So Fizzle will hit his go mode once he goes to ice. The longer he puts that off, the more trouble he's in, because even Hypes is in go mode now, as you remember to go talk to Sarda. And unfortunately, Fizzle making the right plays. It might get a Masa out of this, but not getting the exact right call here.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you've got similar time to access to 3 different incentive dungeons or whatever, you are just flipping a 3-sided coin. And that's assuming that what he's looking for, the Oxyel, rolls into one of these spots, because we don't know if he's seen all 3 loose. We know he saw 2 of them.
Yeah, we just don't know if it was Factor Ribbon. It was the 3rd loose. And I think if he opens a box and finds another, he's going to feel bad. And those evil elves with Saber 6. It's kind of scary, knowing that that's worse.
Also, never mind. He's got his Black Mage back up. For a minute, I thought I saw only 2 characters alive, and if he'd switched his leveling strategy, but he's back to the 3-person party.
Hypes is headed to C, while Thunder and Bert. Are we gonna see a Warmack hunt?
I know Bert loves to go after these patrolling Warmechs. We'll have to see if he turns here or not.
The people's champion, Bert Reynolds. If he goes to find this Warmack. You can't say he's the people's champion unless he actually goes.
This looks like a beeline for the teleporter. Yeah, he's in go mode.
No memes tonight. Find some Sahags on the Bridge of Destiny. It's gotta give you a little bit of pause.
Yeah, a lot of the packs did roll into places where you kind of thematically expect that thing, but I gotta say that the land-bound Sahags have been throwing me off a bit, as well as the ocean robots.
And Thunder taking the same pathing through the teleporter room, not gonna see Warmack. It's a foot race down the Bridge of Destiny. You hope there's no banana peel. It's a long way to fall down. This fizzles through the teleporter maze, and I didn't see if Hypes went left side first or if he went to Mermaid side. Oh, he's just coming in. And he's gonna go do Kraken. So all of our runners in go mode with the exception of Fizzle. Still looking for the ever elusive Oxyale, which is in Ice Cave, and I've done a couple practice seeds for the upcoming spring tournament and running our weekly asyncs with Fizzle, and I know he's had some rough times in ice, so that might be another reason why he's delaying the ice dive. So
yeah, I mean, between Waterfall, Ice, and Ordeals, my routing, though this tends to be pre-floater, is always Waterfall, Ordeals, and then Ice.
Right.
But other people might not have the same preferences. This could be being decided for other reasons.
Especially because we didn't see any warp magic.
So we got the same sort of fight going on here on the bottom two screens that we just saw Fizzle go through. So we're going to see Tia scroll through these 4 elemental spells over and over while they try to get through that 4-digit HP.
And it looks like Thunder understands the spells now. He casted Viz 8, and then he went to cast it again and stopped and jumped down to Wall 8. So he's max evade. Every party member's got a combat ribbon or a real ribbon on. And it's just, yeah, he's going to get through this Tiamat fight a lot quicker than Fizzle did. As Fizzle gets rewarded with the bottle from Ordeal. So the time sync continues as Fizzle just kind of keeps walking down this downward spiral.
Those Tia kills were almost synced up on screen, but now Bird's menuing, so they didn't like the orb at the same time. Also, I saw the White Mage cast something I needed to look up. The Guard 5 was a self-cast Absorb raise, so I'm guessing at that rating probably at least as strong or stronger than Fog 2, which is not very strong in vanilla.
Yes, I'm not exactly sure what the strength of it is again, but it's not necessary when you have Viz A, obviously.
Yeah. Now, crits, this is just a general FF1 question that I've forgotten the exact answer to. I know crits ignore evasion. Do crits also ignore absorb?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, then the guard would do nothing.
Because I'm pretty sure, because a high evade, like a high absorb boss, you want to use something like the Vorpal on it, because it's going to ignore the absorb on a critical hit. Or at least some of the absorb. I know that's why the Team Vorpal camp swears by it in higher percentage clamps.
Naturally. Now, Bert is doing the Mermaids check, which will get him something that'll help in the endgame, but sort of on the pace he was at, clocking step for step with Thundercloud, he's now falling behind these checks and magic shops. He's actually doing a full chest clear, it looks like, or maybe a partial chest clear in Mermaids, while Thundercloud is full steam ahead through Earth. So I think we're going to see maybe a couple minutes separating them going into the final dungeon.
Uh-oh, jeez. Fizzle turns into Crystal and is rewarded with a ribbon. So we still have a loose out there, and Fizzle's the only runner with that information. I hope he goes to ice. He's going to go to ice before he goes to chest density fiend dungeons.
Yeah, the Maza is unaccounted for. Is the defense or the ruse, whatever sword, also unaccounted for?
So Fizzle did find the Ruse 2 sword from the bottle.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that turn in. So in that case, the loose, one of the loose is Maza, and it's out there and probably not going to be picked up.
Yep, so it looks like the loose item that we're looking for is the TNT that will turn into the Masa. Because the ruby was accounted for, and all of our other key items have been accounted. The ruby was in the shop, and the Titan's Trove was fixed, and nothing was in the Titan's Trove, so ruby is not required, and just gonna sit on that shelf in the vendor shop in Elfland and just collect dust.
You can see Bert here also going for random encounters that he could be running from on his way through C. I don't know how judicious he's going to be about skipping those, but that's going to add a little bit to his timer while we've got pretty much exclusive runs from Thundercloud because Earth Cave is not as valuable.
Right. So as our runners are kind of cleaning up their final few fiend dungeons here, Fizzle's going to get his Oxtail. He's going to be in go mode. Slam on the gas, and when Fizzle goes, he goes fast. And Nova's gonna get through Sea Shrine, and we're probably gonna have all of our runners entering Topher within, like Bert and Thunder are probably gonna be in would be nearly simultaneously, but Thunder's already got his 4th orblet. Bert will probably be in about a minute or 2 later. Fizzle and Nova likely 5 to 6 minutes after that. As Fizzle's still going to be checking chests through ice until he does the full loop and gets that Oxtail. But as Thunder's making his final preparations, I want to let folks know that spring tournament's coming up, and just signups are going to be open up here probably in the next week or so. And it's going to be running from March through about June, so if you're out there watching Final Fantasy Randomizer, you want to jump in. I know this time last year I was watching, I think it was Chaos Rush tournament that was going on, and I was just sitting out there in the YouTube world watching this game and decided, hey, I'll just jump in and have some fun and try to, not lose too horribly. So if you're out there watching, you want to get in here and race against some of these people, there's no better time than now. We got spring tournament coming up, we got some fun stuff planned over the summer, and it's going to be a really good time.
Certainly a better time than Hype's Nova's Black Mage is going through because it just got crackened. On that note, at 104.55, we've got Thundercloud entering Topher for the first time of our on-stream runners.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this Topher has to hold. Are we going to see a Phantom equivalent spike tile here?
Oh, that's a Phantom. It's rolled a Sahag's body, but it is a Phantom. And it is no longer a Phantom.
Gives Phantom XP, though. That matters.
That actually is a Phantom. It's just,
okay.
It's right.
Gotcha.
So, of note, Thundercloud went deliberately to Elfland, like out of his way to Elfland, to pick up 2 spells on his knight, which, if they were the vanilla values, would look pretty good. He picked up Cure 4, air quotes, and Invis 2, air quotes, but I don't know if those are necessarily things you go out of your way for in Spellcrafter.
No, that's fair. As he comes across some flan, a little dessert in Topher. It's a nice little custard dish. It's got a very soft texture. Some people might avoid it if they're not into those sorts of soft, sort of gelatin-like texture.
Looks like he cooked them to taste, though. Now, we have got some appearingly low-tier enemies, like imps, that have a high enough class to have been put into the Temple of Fiends Revisited and hitting for things like 250 damage a pop.
Yeah, those aren't your parents' imps. But Hypes is out of Sea Shrine, got his 3rd orblet. Bert's gonna fire through here on Kraken. Nuke 6 comes out. Nuke 6 comes out. all told does about 386 damage, and Will gets punched out. I guess he never had an opportunity to get that Invis 8 off. So,
yeah, Deng must have been hit out first, but got the Orblit regardless.
So Bert trying the super meta strategy of, like, you can't punch out my life caster on the back row if my life caster's not in the back row. But still gets punched out. So Fizzle must not know that he's in go mode. Or he's looking for something. I'm surprised to see that he's opening boxes.
Yeah, if he's aware that the Maza is loose, there's a chance he thinks he needs it. More likely the case that he doesn't have the full inventory of the items in his head, given the other confusions that the seed could introduce.
Bert heads back to Provoca, Best Town Provoca, to pick up some opal bracelets. Yeah, that's really good armor to pick up. And there's an Aegis shield there, but his ninja's not going to be able to wear that. But overall, pretty good gear. Got a heal helmet, opal bracelet, pro ring. He's doing pretty good there.
And we've got our first Fiend refight here on Thunderclaw's screen.
Alright, Lich, what are you going to do, Lich? Meteor 8 comes out, 202 damage. DS7 comes out, 269 damage. Good turn order here from Thundercloud. We didn't see what high-level spell Lich was going to fire off with.
Now, that was a little bit off theme. Were those snakes? Oh, I guess they could have been like fire snakes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if the enemies that roll into these floors are elemental themed. One fine day, do you know?
There's no theming to anything. It's just purely based on experience gains.
Gotcha. As we're gonna get our look at Carry 2, and he gets the Nova turn order and casts Invis 8 twice. I wonder if that's just in case Carry first turned one of the Invis 8 caster, but
yeah, I'm guessing that's the safety strat, because if you can get that off, it massively increases your odds against all these bosses.
Yeah, and the interesting thing how it shakes up the meta is, so when I think about buffing for Fiend fights, is Carry 2 doesn't prove to be a problem at all for Thunder. You typically, so when you're casting Invis or Ruse, like, you know you've got time to do other things. So while your Knight is casting Ruse with the defense sword, someone else could be fasting him, someone else could be tempering him. But if you're getting Invade capped in one round, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I think for the sake of wowing the viewers and wowing all of us into excitement for the flags, it's good to see this kind of power level, but at the same time, as we said in the beginning, it's balanced around not shuffling magic levels. That spell should be very inaccessible.
Yeah, that's something you're typically not going to find until you hit Lefane or you hit Gaia. So definitely airship locked and promotion locked. So Burt Reynolds is going to validate his run, going to find a wooden stick and 1,500 gold. So not much, but he's not far behind Thunder. Should Thunder see something pretty wild here on these last two floors? We've yet to see a gatekeeper.
Well, we have seen sea tyros.
Yeah, I mean, and we have in-mechs. Nuclear mechs? Not war mech? Alright, Kraken 2, what are we going to do? We're going to fast for the night, we're going to Invis 8, we're going to Saber 6, and we're going to Invis 8 just in case. So we lost our fast 4. But the white wizard is still alive, so able to pick everyone up. Kraken only doing physical so far. Wonder if we're going to see a wall 8 come out. Vorpal Swing 3 is 128, Lightning Force, Hammer, Fast 4 comes out from the Red Wizard, Ice 4 from Kraken, not too scary.
Yeah, I guess that's comparable to Kraken having Lit 2, right? It's like a bunch of Lit 2s intermixed with the big punches and vanilla.
Big hit there from the Vorpal. 3 hits, 476. Kraken, punch happy, but that Invis 8 at level 1 really does trivialize a lot of these heavy melee dealing Topher bosses, as life 7 easily pick up.
Yeah, and Tia's spell and skill list, since this is going to resemble Vanilla so much, Tia will come back with the 4 elemental AoEs that were being cast by Tia 1. Has Bane in the Vanilla spell list, so maybe a Bane type spell is going to fire off here at the beginning, and then a lot of Tier 3 magic in Vanilla, so maybe like Tier 6 AoE here.
Alright, Rub 7 comes out, and we lose the Red Wizard and the Black Wizard. And Viz 8's gonna protect basically the rest of his party. They're now basically immune to physical damage, bar crits.
Ooh, that big single target nuke spell came right at the White Mage.
I will take that back. I wasn't expecting anything that scary, but Cure 7 will pick the White Wizard back up. So we're basically only worried about those high level non-elemental damages, where we've got Wall Up and we've got Invis 8. Thunder's going to come out, not going to do too much damage on Thunder, because Thunder has the Wall 8, which will protect against Thunder. And a big Vorpal swing there takes out Tia. Thunder moves on to Chaos. And oh, Lich opens with Meteor 8.
Wow, that ninja immediately went down.
So you want to talk about Thief versus Fighter meta? I think that shows it right there. The Knight might have been able to soak that damage while just through sheer HP growth, while the Ninja just dropped.
Yeah, that's the main disadvantage of Bert's party over the other ones, whereas the Thief has advantages during the earlier portions of the Siege, speeding up your party's movement through the world by getting initiative more often.
And at an hour 14 minutes, we have Chaos pulled, Thunder beefing up. Never brought back the Black Wizard. Guess doesn't feeling confident, doesn't need her. Fast comes out and Viz 8 comes out. Crack rolls through and everybody survives. So another Invis 8, I guess that's a safety strat. Here comes the Saber 6.
So it'll be really interesting to see how quickly Chaos runs through the spell list, because we are expecting a Cure 7, as it were.
And he just dropped a single target Ice 8, it looked like, or Ice 7, and dropped the Red Wizard all the way down with one blast. So massive damage coming out as Chaos rolls Holy 6.
Oh, the fighters just got slowed, and this is post the mazes being down, so that lowers the... Yeah, so the fighter's gone from fasted to regular number of attacks, which is a lot better than going from regular attacks to 1 attack.
Right, and he still did a decent amount of damage there, 5 hits, about 500 damage, another 3 hits, 573 damage, so Chaos is about halfway through his... And there it is, that's the power of the Vorpal Sword.
Wow.
4 hits, 1000 damage, GG, Thundercloud, finishing at 1 hour, 15 minutes, 31 seconds, getting it done.
And that is first place overall, not just on the restream, so again, GG's to Thunder.
We're gonna see if we can get him in the booth, get his thoughts on Enemizer Spellcrafter.
Well, he left IRC already, so we'll have to check in Discord.
Yeah, he's a veteran runner at this point. He knows if he wants to talk to us, he can hop in the room. We'll throw him up here. Alright, so what do we got? We got Burt Reynolds right behind him. Looks like he's on the sky, or he's on the sea floor here. Nova, he's going a different route. You gonna find Warmac? No. Please find a normal. Your hypes is in your name. Find the Warmac. Alright, and I'm about to pull Thundercloud into the room. And we're joined by our first place finisher, Thundercloud. How's it feel, man? GG.
Oh my gosh, I don't know, dude. That was such a confusing mess of thing to play.
You did really well though. You learned the new spells kind of quickly. How did you feel about Invis 8?
That felt really good. I didn't know how much Invis it actually gave until I found out after like casting 2 of them that Kraken missed completely. I was like, oh, this is probably better than Invis 1 or Ruse. I just kept on just sticking to 2 Invis 8 casts after that, and it seemed to work.
What if I told you a single Invis 8 would get your entire party to max evade?
That's ridiculous, but okay, I'll take it.
Well, typically, so this is something we were talking about because really good magic. You had your Ice 8, you had your Meteor 8, you had the Invis 8. So typically those spells are going to be gated behind promotion in Lefane and Gaia. You're only going to have access to them at the high level, later level in the game. So, but because we did Spellcrafter with magic levels shuffled, it's basically, just, gave you the keys to the candy store. Just there you go, have fun.
Yeah, it was very nice to have Ice 8 first, because I ran one of these where the best sweeper I got through like 1 through 6 was an Ice 4, and it was not fun.
Yeah.
By the way, for our play-by-play real quick, Bert just got through Kraken 2. The ninja was immediately punched out, and then a black mage went down to 1 knee, but was able to get there with magic damage through Kraken, so Tia 2 coming.
Yeah, so Thunder, you and Nova ran Fighter Rainbow, which is pretty safe party with these flags, especially if you're learning something for the first time. Fizzle ran the Fighter Thief Red-Black, and the Thief's basically just been kind of dragged around their whole seed. And Burt Reynolds went almost meme level like party. He did the Ninja White Double Black. So there's a little safety there, but that's a whole lot of speed, and I think he's quickly learning how dangerous a ninja tank can be.
Yeah. Yeah, these enemies, like, you saw, I don't know if you saw on my screen, but when I got into Topher, I got into, like, an account that had an RM that hit my party for, like, 250 damage or something.
Yeah, those imps aren't messing around. The imp's revenge. As Tia opens up with Thunder on Bert, everybody survives. Big hit from the the Katana, 7 hits, 224. And we're going to do a heal 3 helmet with the Black Mage, another lightning 3 a swing, and I missed what... It's going too quick. I missed what the White Wizard's doing.
That's a heal 4. And oof. So he's working with just the 2 ribbons, so the Black Casters are already down. We're going to need to lean on this ninja for our damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't pick up... Oh, he does have Wall 8. He just did not cast it. So Holy 8 coming out, 131 damage. Feels like a fade roll in a typical Tia fight.
Uses his last Holy 8 to get the damage off for this fight, so there's not going to be any Wall 8s cast on Chaos for Bert.
Yeah, and that's kind of scary with... We know Chaos is going to open up with Crack, and that could... So unless the turn order isn't kind, he could have a much more challenging Chaos fight.
Yeah, he also cast that Ice 8 that was pretty deadly. I think it hit my Black Mage for 500 plus damage.
As Nova's taken on Tia 1, gonna light his 4th orb, and Fizzle's plodding through the Sea Shrine, getting to the Kraken floor. And I think Fizzle's I'm trying to figure out what's going through Fizzle's head. He's a typical speed and power guy, and he had pretty good levels early on with his early Sky play, but definitely suffered from not going to ice right away.
We got Bert pulling Chaos, stacking up some offensive buffs, hoping that Invis 8 gets off before any physical attacks come out.
Yep. And it doesn't, as does the fast, so one of the Black Wizards does his job. 7 hits, 316. Here comes a Nuke 6, 152. Ice 8. Not too bad.
Now, were there Black Shirt equivalents in the shop? Because those Black Mages could be resisting it.
It was in Canaria, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the Ruse 5 shirt or the Ruse 2 shirt?
Which I had equipped with my Black Mage, so that's baloney. Why'd I take so much damage?
Ooh, and the Crack just gets one of the Black Mages, so not even that bad.
Yeah, survives that. Another heal 4 coming out. Big swing here. Hits 231. Chaos didn't roll could only roll up to a maximum of 2,400 HP, so as long as we don't see anything too scary come out, Bert should wrap this up any second now. And there it is, 8 hits, 177 damage. The katana gets it done. GG's to Burt Reynolds.
GG.
GG. He's our second runner to finish on stream and second overall with an SRL time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 17 seconds. Fizzle's taken his party to the dragon and getting promoted, so he'll have access to a whole bunch of new gear shortly.
I think Hype's just accidentally reset out to you.
Oh no!
Oh, that's
no.
unfortunate.
Maybe he's checking his notes. We've seen Hypes pause for a second a couple times. Please no.
Was he on the literal Tiamat 1 fight, or was he like...
He was like mid-menu and it reset.
Oh man, I wonder if his reset like button or key combination is in sort of a spot that he could accidentally click while menuing to other things.
That's unfortunate.
Or maybe he had party members die and he just thought it wasn't worth continuing on. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's happened to me. Not this late in the game. My very first match, restream match at that, with Will Cleosis in the 2019 Spring Tournament. I went to Garland, killed Garland, and accidentally reset. And I didn't even have I thought I saved and I didn't, and then I had to walk back up. I lost 2 minutes on that accidental reset, and nowhere near the time sync that Hypes. He lost any checks that he did on the way up, so that kind of feels a little bad. But
if he kind of knew his relative position here, he would be trucking onward, because he can still beat, at the very least, Lord Fizzlebeef and Meridian, who did forfeit earlier.
Yeah. So Fizzle kind of struggling a little bit here. We have to figure out what's going through his head. If he's just got too many, he's keeping track of too many different things. And we're joined by Will Cleosis in chat. Will, how you doing, man?
The smooth talker.
Yeah, the smooth talker himself shows up.
Yeah, if you're ever going through the old Final Fantasy Randomizer videos on YouTube, perhaps for last year's spring tournament, or a number of other showcases that have been done in the past, Will Cleosis is a long-time comms person for the community.
So, Will, I don't know if you're around when we were talking about, we got the spring tournament coming up here in a few, about 6-7 weeks. We're going to have sign-ups open. So make sure you come on over to the Discord, get signed up once those come out, probably in a week or two. It's going to be awesome. Will Cleosis is one of the veteran runners. Like I said, I got paired up with him week 1. I didn't know anybody in the community. Super helpful, got me involved, and it was really great. And I don't think if it weren't for Will, I probably wouldn't be here. I probably would have just done my race, done my 5 Swiss matches, and just quietly walked away from the community. But Will showed up, got me involved, so big thank you to him. And Hypes Nova, the Heroes Champion, fights Warmech with Pete Mech.
I can't get enough of this sprite. That thing is going to hit you with every single one of its legs if you don't get the Invisate off.
You're not lying. You're not lying. She's Fast 4 comes out. Nova's getting ready. Got Invisate. He's at max evade. He's fasted up. Nuclear comes out from Warmech. We were kind of expecting that, as what OFD was telling us.
That's the whole skill list for vanilla Warmech is Nuclear. So if Warmech doesn't deviate to attacks or elemental spells, this could be a short fight.
This is going to be a bad time. So those 4 Nuclears that we're often counting in the Temple of Fiends Revisited or the Warmech fight in Sky Castle, those all come from a single enemy. But Cure 7's going to help pick everybody up. And here comes another nuclear just in time. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. We got Cure 7 still. We're down to two light warriors.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Hypes kind of knew the combination of the vanilla scripts plus Spellcrafter, what that would do to that fight, because it was going to be just health spam. If you don't have health to absorb that quick of nuclear casts, you're not going to be able to get through it.
Yeah, especially if it's not deviating to punching at all. Like, you really need a back. As Lord Fizzlebeef looks like Tracker fell asleep on the job. His fire orb's lit. So Hypes Nova not as far ahead as we thought. And the interesting thing that I talked about, I mentioned this earlier. So all of our runners, they had a relatively easy time through the seed, except Hypes. The seed has just been kind of having that opposite day effect on them. But I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Dangwoo and Danny. Dangwoo with the restream and tracking, Danny with the tracking like she always does. Huge help here. And it's not something easy to track either. This is basically almost a whole new game.
At least, yeah, this was a very jet seed, though. I mean, a pretty quick floater if you did Marsh with an exit cast out, then the 2 loose items in Cardia that you needed in the same room, right next to each other.
Yeah.
And the good magic.
Everything about that, including the magic, right? We had super powerful offensive and defensive magic, so there were really no barriers to getting through the seed if you could wrap your head around what it was giving you with these new randomizations.
Well, Fizzle's going to get his information on the Vanilla Fiends and the Vanilla Fiends and Temple of Fiends. But with the spellcrafted spell, it's going to be an interesting dive for him. Because while most of our runners have had kind of an easy time with Temple of Fiends, we do know that it can be bad. It can be real bad.
Man, I'm looking at these flan, getting hungry.
Flan's pretty good. You know, it's I think it's Spanish in origin. It's a nice little.
Yeah, that probably means it's flan.
But it's a very soft texture. When I'm eating, I like texture. So when it kind of drives a lot of the things I like in my cuisine. Softer textures are a little harder for me to get into. I got creme brulee. That's nice. Where's the creme brulee Sprite? OFD.
What? Pardon me.
Can we get an FFR food crafter Enemizer? Warmech is just a micro, right? All right, we got our first look of the. We want to talk about food. We got a Pop-Tart here on Fizzle screen. Nuke 6 coming out. 282. He didn't get to see the first turn. Was it Nuke 8 that Lich had? Did he try to cook Bert with?
Yeah, it was something pretty deadly like that. Meanwhile, I'm interested in these screens full of poison asps because I'm not actually sure. I think they just have poison touch based on that. I don't think it means they're all going to cast gas AoE spells, but that would have been impressive if they did.
And Hypes going for the rematch on Warmech. He said, "Not today, Warmech. We're going to do this." Invis 8 comes out. Warmech's punch happy. Here comes the swing. 3 hits, 3 damage after a fast 4. Uh-oh. That's not good.
Yeah, he doesn't have ways to buff the damage of his Excalibur. Actually, he's not even equipping Excalibur. It's a Sun Sword, right? Because he's pre-promotion.
Yep, he did not get the tail from the waterfall. He did not get the Saber 6 gauntlet. He's going to try Hurt 2. It's going to do a little bit of damage. Nuke 6 comes in 157. Ice 8, 107. Invis 8, he doesn't have the information on the Invis 8 being full max evade right away. Nuke 6 is going to do some work.
Yeah, I think with how much research there was to go into this seed with, if you're trying to play optimally, you're talking about reading 2 entire new FAQs. So I think a lot of people might have just decided to wing it as far as some of the mechanics go.
Yeah. Question from chat: was there temper in this seed? If there was temper in a shop, I didn't see it. And there comes the first nuclear. Everyone survived, so now we can spam some heal 4s. We're just gonna do the cure 7s. More nuke 6s. That's what he's leaning on.
That's it. There you go. Good job.
Big XP boost right there. Gets the party to an average level of 21 as Fizzle's taking the business to Kraken. Big hit there from the X-Cal. Meteor 8 gonna follow it up. 86 damage. Not gonna get it done, but 8 hits 378 from the X-Cal. That'll get it done. Alright, so we got some water squids.
Those are water squids, not wizard squids.
Maybe
there's a W and there's a WZ.
Maybe wind squids.
Oh, hang on. I'm looking for the prefixes aren't all listed in the FAQ, unfortunately. There are a bunch of ones that have no connotation towards the resistances or spells or skills. They're just flavor.
And those could have death touch, so this could be scary.
You're very right, they could.
And I don't know if Fizzle knows that, because he's just going to continue on in this fight for reasons. I'd missed if it was unrunnable.
Did you end up finding any meat sticks?
We didn't see a meat stick, no, unfortunately.
Maybe as soon as Fizzle realized he wasn't going to get a meat stick, that was when he decided to just change up his approach to the seed.
You know what? I think you might be right. That might be why Fizzle was opening all boxes after he hit go mode. He wanted a meat stick, and now he's just going to fight these runnable wild squids.
So Sleep 2 in vanilla is non-elemental. One Fine Day are all higher tier sleep spells non-elemental in this game?
Sleep 2 and Sleep 4 are I believe non-elemental. I'm not sure about Sleep 3. But yes, most of the higher tier sleep spells are non-elemental to make them more useful, both for you and for the enemy.
Yeah, fortunately, in favor of the player, you wake up from sleep after a single action or single potential next turn for any character. It's not as bad as paralysis.
So we got side-by-side Tia fights. Thunder's coming out all over the place. Nuke 6s and Nova's buffing and healing. Ice 8 rolling out 90 damage. Poison rolling through. Nova's Cure 7 not in time to keep that red mage alive. But Ice 8 will get it done for Fizzle, and he is on to find out how nasty Chaos can be. So
we have yet to see someone run into the Cure 4 and have to start their fight all over again. Mm-hmm. Also, there's only one... there are 2 white casters on this team, but there's not 2 non-melee white casters, so there'll have to be some turns maybe where this knight is healing as opposed to swinging, which could change things.
Yeah. But again, we don't have to waste 6 turns to get evade capped. We can get that in 1, so while the fight may restart, it might restart while we're still sort of in a buffing phase. So, Fizzle is pulling Chaos as Nova lights his final orb and begins his march through the the preparation for Temple of Fiends, and we're going to get a swing right away to test it. 3 hits, 37 damage. We're going to need to buff that knight. Viz 8 comes up. Ice 8! Oof. That 210, that feels real bad. But we're going to keep swinging, not opt for the Saber 6. I don't know if he found the Saber Gauntlet, but Nuke 6 rolls in. 208, not too bad. 9 hits or 97 damage. It's not great. So we might need to make some adjustments here. There's a Lock 2 coming out.
Which, by the way, the flag that sets those to perfect accuracy is not on, and They are high accuracy in the Spellcrafter generation, but they're still not perfect, so that lock just straight up missed.
Yeah. Another swing from 8 hits, 57 damage. So this is kind of what we're seeing the difference between the X-Cal and the Katana. Katana was putting in work, Warple was putting in work for Thundercloud. X-Cal, not so much. Not the sword you want to be swinging here. You really
Yeah, even though we have sort of a vanilla-ish chaos, we don't have vanilla melee weapons. Melee weapons are substantially nerfed in the randomizer for reasons, so the Excalibur does not have the extreme crit rate that it does in vanilla.
And I know that he had to at least have seen the Vorpal as it was in Matoya's cave. Whether obviously he didn't keep it or equip it. If he still has it and didn't equip it, that's a question we can ask him about. 9 hits, 102, Ice 8 coming in. So he's doing little pokey chip. There it is!
Oof, so the fight resets, but we still have good HP totals, decent resources. The slow 5 missed on the fighter, so we're just going to have to keep plugging away here.
Yep, but we're going to see another slow 5 here soon, so might want to switch to some Lightning 8 or just keep rolling with the Ice 8s as Nova comes into Temple of Fiends. So if 10 hit... Oh, Swirl! Ooh,
Yeah,
big
that's a
damage.
vanilla script. Chaos has more of those in the tank, right? There's Swirl, and I don't think we've seen the Tornado, which
Yes,
comes after.
Tornado and Blaze.
It's Infernal. It's Crack. Yeah. Crack, Inferno, Swirl, Tornado are the skills.
Okay. So we saw the Tornado as Chaos is wreaking havoc on Fizzle's party. And
wow, this is not looking like it's going to succeed.
We're in the bad times now, so we gotta hope for a crit loop here.
That's a vanilla fast. He needs an the crit loop is like the way to save this, or just Chaos suddenly choosing all physicals because he's doing enough damage.
Yeah, he's getting it done. So 6 hits, 232, 7 hits, 22. So it's not a 1-round loop. 5 hits, 56, and oof. Well, we did get confirmation that Fizzle, he's not going to stop until he gets this. So let's see what kind of adjustments he makes. He's a veteran runner. He knows what he has to do. He's going to go poke around, and he's going to make those adjustments to make this dive successful because he knows that X-Cal's not going to do it.
Yeah, Vorpal must have been available in the shop, given that.
Yeah, was that Crescent Lake?
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to double check magic. We found Stew 7 and Ice 4. That's not what he wants. Pop him to a weapon shop? Nope. Nope, he wants magic. And level 8 black, we've got Warp 6, Rot 2, and Bio 5. Not what we're looking for. I think he's looking for a Temper spell.
Is he going to go all the way to Lefane here? He's doing it. He's looking for a Temper spell in Lefane Magic 8.
I'm right. One fight day can correct me, but is it guaranteed 1 Temper or 1 Saber? Because I think Saber was like level 4 or 3.
You're only guaranteed that 1 Saber spell exists. You are not guaranteed that a Temper spell exists at all.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And we don't even have Lefanish Hospitality on. Oh, we're gonna get a... You did that, Fizzle. That's where you got your canoe. You're not gonna get the Masa there. And we get a Lit 4. So, Fizzle's gonna ponder some life decisions, and he's just gonna go back in.
He pulled just about all the... Hang on. It's the Adamant that led to the power bunk, and where was the Adamant situated?
The Adamant was in Mermaids.
Yep.
Oh wow, and so even though he was clearing a lot more than most players, he was out of full clear mode by the time he got to C.
Yeah. Yep, so the only thing he could hope for is just a one-off check to find the loose TNT to turn into the Masa.
I was in full go mode before I started doing C2, but I knew that I needed a Saber Gauntlet, or at least I wanted a Saber Gauntlet to back up my Vorpal plan. So I just kept checking incentives till I got it.
And now, still, we're in indecision mode here for Fizzle. What are we going to do? We're going to check the level 2 black magic, just confirm. Yep. It's not here. We got quick 3, which is kind of like fast, but your knight can't learn it. It's definitely a ninja or red wizard spell for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's doing all these magic shops. Will he walk into a weapon shop and look for a Vorpal?
I don't know. I don't think he, because he hasn't walked into a single weapon shop now. I don't see him going back to start checking them again.
Meanwhile, we got Hypes Nova is going to be pulling his first Fiendry fight here in just a couple of steps. He's on the right side of Earth Floor.
And Fizzle gets confirmation that no temper today. As Nova's taking on some nice eyes.
Okay, but he does buy a Saber spell on his Red Wizard, so he could be looking to throw something on there, try just exhausting all of those Saber charges maybe, and getting a super swole Red Mage.
Yeah, I'm curious. I would love to see his equipment screen, because I don't even know what his Red Wizard's swinging. It'd be a shame if the Red Wizard was swinging the Vorpal this whole time, because you really, if you're going to use the Vorpal, you really want it in the hands of the Knight. It's fine on a Red Wizard or a Ninja, but you really want it in the hands of a Knight.
Yeah, with like 5 or 6 casts of Saber available, that looked like either a giant sword or an ice sword. It was something blue. Like swords get so much better extremely quickly if you're using offensive buffing magic. Something that's horrible turns into something elite in a few casts. So I think if he can just keep that Red Wizard up on Chaos, he'll have a chance.
So Fizzle running away from the Beagoils, but is Nova taking a grind here? Oh, they're just unrunnable. Unrunnable nice eyes. That's not very nice. Those are some bad eyes. And
Now, one thing to note is Fizzle's deliberately going through this Temple of Fiends with the Thief down. He doesn't have life magic because it was white locked. So the ninja that's on the ground, if you were to have, say, revived that, maybe given it a little bit of spare experience or something, you could be talking about like a 200-something HP ninja that might be able to soak up some hits for you. He's declining that option entirely.
yeah, and the ninja is really, at this point, would just be, you throw him up front and hope that Chaos punches at the ninja, but the ninja's not going to survive that swirl or tornado.
Yeah, he's not going to make it all the way to Chaos, probably even, but it's just a thought. At the very least, he might, if he picked up a katana somewhere along the way in his travels, he might have been able to get a couple hundred damage out of the ninja. Just a thought.
Nova does not see the nasty first spell from Lynch either, so maybe Nova's luck has turned and he's going to start seeing the nice part of Topher that Fizzle didn't see.
Yeah, now clear speed is really going to come into play here. How do these players execute these fights? Who sees what skills and spells? Because Fizzle's half a floor behind Hypes.
Yeah, Fizzle, I mean, he has the knowledge. I mean, he's been here, he's wiped, he's back in. He knows what to expect. And so he definitely has that advantage. He also has the advantage of, recency. He's been playing the game a lot lately. Nova's kind of taking a break. This is his first seed back into it. So got to give Nova a lot of props here. Taking some time off from running Final Fantasy Randomizer and chooses this seed to make his triumphant return. So we got simultaneous carry fights as Invis 8 comes out for Nova. Going to get evade cap, nuke 6s. So Fizzle's just standing on the gas pedal here, just hoping to damage carry down before anything crazy comes out. And she punches, so not too hard. 6 hits, 145, and Nova's through the carry fight pretty quickly. And level 25, 26 across the board. Down goes carry for Fizzle. Fizzle's levels are a little bit better. Looks like he's hanging out around 30.
Yeah, I mean, Fizzle's levels keep him... it's really hard to say who has the advantage here because having a white wizard is actually enormous in this Topher, and that's an extra action per round that you get to dedicate to healing off that AoE elemental damage or non-elemental damage.
Yep. And Fizzle finds the steak cooking in the water bath. It's a fun way to cook steaks. The sous vide. There, I was struggling for the word. He finds the sous. Nova takes on Kraken, 3 hits, 150 damage. Invis 8 comes out. And we're gonna do some nuke 6s, and he didn't pick up. Oh no, wall 8 was level 6. He didn't pick up wall 8, so he's not gonna get that blanket ribbon coverage for his other 2 non-ribbon light warriors. Ice 4. Doing like middling damage, like you said, that lightning 2 damage. Nuke 6 rolls out less than 100, but then bounces right back. That average damage, bring it up to about 200 per nuke. It's pretty good. Got a punch and a miss from Kraken. Another nuke 6 rolls in, 120. Another nuke 6, 119. And Fizzle pulls Kraken. He knows to just go as fast as he can through this, as Nova is through and onto the Tiamat floor for the first time.
Yeah, so just a single fiend fight, or maybe less than a total fiend fight separating them right now, and menuing, decision making, all these things are going to come into play.
Yeah, and then when it comes to those things, you kind of give the advantage to Fizzle a little bit with the menuing and the knowledge, just because he was already here. You know, he knows what to expect. He probably already has a plan in his head for what he's going to do. But Sleep 3 Wizard Squids is going to slow him down just a little bit. As Nova's taking his time contemplating what he wants to do. Do you want Nuke 6? Yeah, I don't know if you're going to do an Anti-Ice 4. Switch to Meteor 8. So Earth damage, massive damage AoE. And a Holy 6, and we're going full damage here. Holy 6 going to come out and do 144. It's a low fade roll. Meteor 8, 70. Little chip damage. Nuke 6, 150. Bottle with a swing 4 hits 4 damage. Rub 7 rolls through, and everyone stays up. So all told, he's about like 400 damage in to Tia 2 here. We're going to keep the same strategy. Holy 6. 50
Yeah.
damage.
Hypes is actually probably going to have a lot of trouble with sustained damage on Chaos now that I think about it, so this might not actually be a contest.
Well, we still got to see.
He's running low on his big magic, and the fighter just doesn't have what it takes with that Sun Sword.
Yeah, we'll see how deep the bench is on his white magic. As a single target nuke comes in, and Fizzle is through the Tia fight. He's gonna fight some Xerox bulls here. Just standing on the photocopier in Temple of Fiends, just main copies themselves. And here come the nuke 6s, and that's enough to do it. So we have.
Also, I think they've been on different encounter tables because Fizzle ended up seeing those bulls and those squids, but Hypes.
We do have a
until this
Vorpal.
Redim's having some pretty clean floor.
And he's going Vorpal on the Red Wizard, so he's going to bank on the Saber 6s being enough. Get a double check. He doesn't have a shield to throw on it, but he's got the best armor he can possibly have on it. So we're going to get a Red Wizard Vorpal fight.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Chat wondering what happened to Bane. Well, Bane on Chaos, still pretty slim chance. Holy 6 rolling through. Gonna take out some damage. Saber 6 keeps. So he's gonna have the ability to do more damage here with that sabered up, but he's gonna have to be alternating between sabers and cure 7s to keep that HP up on the Red Wizard. And Nova being a little more deliberate. He's got the white mage up front. He's taking his time, figuring out what he wants to do. Yeah, you want to save those Cure 7s. And here comes the crack.
All right, nobody
Everybody's-
goes down to crack. That's important.
That's a big roll for Nuke 6 right there, 246.
Now, if I were him, I might have saved the nukes until after the Cure 4 came out and tried to occupy the earlier turns with something else.
Oh, Hype's just lost his... The fighter went down.
And Black Mage down for Fizzlebeef. There's neither of these fights are a lock.
No. Especially when the lock fixes aren't in.
Heyo.
Bang! So, Saber 6, slow 5 coming out, misses. 5 hits, 68. Big swing for the Vorpal. 6 hits, 813. Down goes Chaos. GG's to Lord Fizzlebeef. Let's see. White Mage Hero Hype. What are we going to do? We're out of Holy 6. We got a Ruse 5 shirt. I don't think our White Mage has anything to do but slap. And I don't know if...
Yeah, with that Lord Fizzlebeef finish in third, I've lost track. It seemed like there were more runners than this. Lord Fizzlebeef did finish in third with the 152.11. Hypes is the only runner remaining, so it's kind of up to him if he's even going to go in again through all of this, or if he's okay with forfeiting, or what's his plan attack here.
Yeah, I would not blame him, but he's gonna go slap strats. Maybe get that crit loop. Because if Chaos stays punch happy, oh no, so you gotta let go of the A button and press it again and hope you get the loop. Not on misses. We don't. Nope.
Well, you're certainly not getting more than one hit. Not that you would, anyways.
So slow 5 lands on the White.
Ooh, and Chaos just healed to full.
Yeah.
Going for it again, though. But in the meantime, we got our third place finisher, Lord Fizzlebeef, in the booth.
GG Fizzle, how's it going, man?
What?
You got a bronze medal, third place.
That was not a bronze medal performance.
No, it really wasn't. But you did your best. That's all that matters.
Did I? I feel like someone told me it's race day, and then they hit me over the head, and then like it was 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, but I mean, so talk to me about your routing. You you slammed on the gas and went into Sky.
Mhm.
It was incentivized, but you had found the 2 lose
Mhm.
right there in Cartier. You found that, I think, before anyone else on stream, and then went to the incentivized Fiend Dungeon instead of the incentivized non-Fiend Dungeon. So walk me through that, man.
Well, the general explanation is sky, 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 sky.
Okay. So how did the orb progressive XP feel? Because that was another one of the experimental flags that we're with tonight that kind of wasn't really talked about all that much compared to the Enemizer and Spellcrafter.
So, I can't give an accurate answer as to how good or bad this version of scaling felt because I was really playing a new game, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to keep mental notes all throughout the seed on what does what. Like, what things are analogs for other things, what things are good experience, what things are bad experience, and that just got so much, like, internalized data that I began forgetting how to do other things, like, what did my spells do? Did temper exist anywhere? Did I open a box with a saber shirt? I don't know.
So if you had gone to the mermaids, they would have given you adamant.
Right.
And that adamant would have turned into a Saber 6 gauntlet.
That would have saved that first dive.
Yeah, and that's how Thundercloud and Burt Reynolds were able to get through this so quickly. They did not go to Sky right away. They went to Ice first and got their Oxyale, and then I think Thunder was in go mode at like 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah,
Like-
there was definitely the path for that, and I sank so much time into just doing what effectively turned out to be just an extended grind in Sky.
Yeah,
It was not worth it.
we
Yeah, by the
were
way, check out these zombie knights. These are really cool. They're like Garland sprites, and they're like big late game enemies with stun touch. It was just a really sweet fight.
nice.
Oh, I never found zombie knights.
Yeah, I don't think Nova's in here off a hard reset like you were coming in.
Oh.
But
Well, the only deadly thing on the hard reset was the whiz squids on the air floor, and it's like if I could just survive those, I'm fine.
I do want to ask you if, because the speculation was as you were clearing through boxes, even after you hit your go mode, you're still looking for stuff in Volcano. I didn't know what you were doing, but then chat pointed out maybe you were looking for your meat stick.
Not incorrect. No, but I miscounted my loose because by that point I was just like, are there 2 loose? Are there 3 loose? How many loose?
Yeah.
Where am I? What am I doing? And at that point I was just like, well, either the Mazza or the tail, because I know the tail's incentivized, and maybe I can get a real sword. And it's better trap treasure. So
Yeah, the
So-
tail was in the waterfall.
Yep.
And we deduced that it was the TNT that was loose that would lead to the Masa.
Mhm.
But you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I got to note that Hypes Nova did lose 2 party members to Lich and just had to revive. So that's 2 of the precious revive charges. Only 2 left overall. So Hypes might actually lose, a couple of Light Warriors might not be able to field all 4 against Chaos.
That doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Wait, what did Lich have? Because I just pushed him over.
Lich had something nasty on the first turn because the fiends, while the spells are different for the game, they're still on their vanilla script. So he would have an equivalent of a nuke 8 at level on the first skill. Or
It
the
was
first.
Meteor 8.
Yeah.
Meteorite.
Ugh.
And so Hypes is back here on carry. Nuke 6 rolling through 236. Swing from the Sun Sword, 6 hits, 87 damage. Nuke 6 coming in from the Red Mage, and that's enough to take carry down. So Hypes on his second dive, he has the same information that Fizzle had on his second dive, so he'll be able to prep for this a little bit better. But still, the Sun Sword, I don't know if that's going to have the damage output to get it done without unless he switches it to the red mage and does what Fizzle did.
I'm real
Yeah.
nervous about the levels I'm seeing here because it felt sketchy doing it at 2930.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vanilla Chaos, again, we've got kind of an off Vanilla Chaos, but Vanilla Chaos is actually one of the more difficult RPG final bosses, especially if you are not prepared to the degree the developers might have expected. And Randomizer, you're generally going in with lower levels than that. So Vanilla Chaos is one of the hardest ways Chaos can roll in FFR.
Right.
Oof.
And Nova
Oh.
finds Thunder Tigers in Temple of Fiends. So 2 seeds in a row, I give him Thundercats.
That was one of the other things that I could not wrap my brain around, trying to gauge the difficulty of things. And I probably, I don't know if it helped or it hurt that I did Sky first, because I kept seeing stuff from Sky in, Volcano of all places, and it's just hell, what?
Yeah,
So-
so- OFD, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about the enemy type distribution.
What would you want to know about the enemy type distribution?
Well, you kind of described it for us earlier how the enemies are distributed through the encounter zones and table. Do you want to break down for Fizzle?
Oh, yes, the enemies can be in one of 11 groups based on where they would, based on areas of the game that you would expect to meet certain XP goals. As far as the enemy images themselves, the enemies can have as few as 2 or as many as 4 images of that type, I think.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, there's actually 2 that are just singles representing Garland and Warmack.
Yeah, so the way it was sort of explained was depending on how much XP the enemy gives, that's going to put it in a dungeon or in a certain encounter zone on the world map. So in
Well,
Sky,
it's based on formation rather than enemy type. So you can get a pretty out of depth enemy that appears as a single enemy, although there are some safeguards against that. You can get an out of depth enemy in a zone, like say you can get Frost Wolf. You can get a single Frost Wolf in Marsh Cave.
mhm.
Well, those Z-Cats right there are a good example. I wiped the Z-Cats once in Volcano when it was like a 2-pack. Now they're there in a 9-pack in Topher.
Yeah, we did see the zombie cats wipe out your early dive on carry.
Ooh, Hype's gonna have to move a ribbon before some of these important fights here, because that's not the first time we've seen that fighter go down to an insta-kill spell.
I was tickled pink to have 3 ribbons for that.
That was the upside to finding the incentive ribbon on Matoya.
Yeah, the treasure pool rolled pretty close to vanilla, but it's hard to say because we had 2 things pulling away from the treasure pool. We had the Elite Gear and Shops flag with the special incentives, and we also had the randomized treasures.
Yeah.
Did anybody check the ordeals incentive?
Yeah, it was something.
Shoot. Oh, it was the bottle, which turned into the
Defense sword. Yeah.
Which was
okay.
completely invalidated by Invis-8, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I had known just how strong Invis 8 was, that might have adjusted what gear I held on to.
So
Yeah,
Invis 8.
I assumed it was like Invis 2 at first and used like 6 stacks of it, but then I started finding out through trial and error that, hey, I'm not getting hit with 4 of these. Hey, I'm not getting hit with 2 of these. Apparently I just needed 1.
Yep. So Invis 8 is an AoE full max evade spell. So super nice to have at level 1.
I did a little bit different. Mine was I cast Invis 8 once versus Tia 1, and my knight that was wearing steel armor, Tia tried to melee and missed. And I was just like, this is probably max evade, isn't it?
Yep, and we've reiterated a few times, but since you're in the broadcast booth since the last time we talked about it, Fizzle, the intent is that that's White Wizard locked and starting at level 25, charges, so it's not supposed to be this free.
Yeah. Same with the Wall 8, even though that was at level 6. A combat ribbon.
6.
Yeah. Well, everybody that ran a White Wizard, which was everyone but you, got access to it. So, were you avoiding ice because of our recent plays that we've been kind of messing around with and the bad luck you've had in ice?
It wasn't so much that I was avoiding ice. Nice dig, by the way. But no, I really did just throw all of my eggs into the sky basket, thinking that sky would provide, and it didn't.
Yeah, you should have talked to Herador for at least 6 more times.
Now, it's 3 is the magic number because you pat him on the head 3 times, and then your luck gets capped. It's like ruse stacks.
Gotcha.
Like you do it more than 3 times, and it's diminishing returns.
So, Nova's back on the carry fight. Gonna just stand on the gas and just do the nukes and the fades and take her down.
Speed and power. I only started getting concerned with like defensive stuff against Kraken 2 because Kraken 2.
It definitely scans. So Hypes is gonna use the heal pots to pick up his party and make his way through the seafloor. Now, see, I don't know if he did a hard reset this time, so I don't know if he's just coming in off soft resets and seeing the same fights.
These are way too few encounters, and I never saw Thunder Tigers.
Yeah, so interesting that he ended up on the same part of the encounter table and gets through, has the 2 life charges to get all the way to chaos.
So is that only one ribbon in his whole party, given who was going down to those thunders?
I wonder if he's not going to give us the look at the.
Oh, I have a question for OFD since he's here.
What's up?
I had like 1 billion AMG 6 stabs. What did that end up doing?
Well, it resists random assortment of magical elements. I'm not sure which ones because nobody really used them. Since you had Wall 8, it was kind of superfluous since Wall 8 is absorb all on all.
Right.
Well, not absorb all, but defend all.
Well, as the one idiot that didn't bring a white mage, I did have to use AMG 6 a couple of times when I only had 1 or 2 ribbons just to get magic protection on the black mage. And I don't know if it worked.
If you don't have the ribbon, it's worth a shot.
Yep.
And Hypes Nova is through Kraken 2 again, so we got a shot here. We're up to the Tia fight, assuming there's no trash mobs that slow him down between here and there.
Yeah.
Be
So
paranoid
Ooh,
about
red imps. These things hit hard.
They have 3 hits too.
Would rather rimps than whiz squids.
All right, I'm gonna let you call this fight. I've been talking a lot. Needs more.
Sure. All right, well, we're starting off with the Invis 8, obviously, to get to max evade right away. We got a fast going out on the fighter. We're going to try and see how much damage we can get out of that Sun Sword. Nuke 6 only does 133, and we, immediately rubbed on the fighter. This doesn't look good, but Tiamat is killable if we spam enough of this AoE, so we could still make it to Chaos and then possibly move our ribbon for that fight. But it's going to depend what that Red Wizard is swinging, if anything. I don't think there's going to be too much melee happening here. Between the nukes and the holies, possibly get through this. Deciding, being very judicious about the charges. You do want to make sure you save at least 1 Invis 8 for that final fight. Thunder coming out and just obliterating everyone that's not the White Mage, who continues to be the only one who can resist that spell. Ice 8 only does 67. It's getting harder and harder to see the finish line here. But, it was hanging in there, but the poison knocked down the Red Mage, didn't get the cure off in time. This is looking like defeat, at least for this particular dive. If the Holy doesn't come, even if the Holy comes through, it's going to use up a charge of life 7.
Yeah. It sort of puts you in an awkward spot. Now
Oh, and there's a nuke just to kind of add insult to injury. Can go back to max HP, but for what end? Blaze hits for 49, and Hypes Nova has forfeited from the race. Regardless, it was a very valiantly fought seed. Ran it for over 2 hours, given not just this experimental flag combination, but the other difficult flags that we played with as well. A great shot, so kudos to Hypes for giving us a show here, coming back to FFR.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get him to come in here and talk to him a little bit, see how he enjoyed the Spellcrafter Enemizer. He did say in the SRO that he had a lot of fun doing the race, but just didn't know what he was doing. So that's not completely surprising that these are new features on the alpha version of the website that are one of our own developers, One Fine Day, developed. So, and we're joined by Hypes Nova. GG Hypes, how's it going, man?
It's going. That sucked.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like you and Fizzle were like in a foot race through Topher, and Fizzle kind of caught up to you through Topher because he had already wiped in there previously, and so had a little more information on you, and had a little bit stronger of a party comp, and that he was able to have the tail and was able to be promoted, so had access to better gear, magic for his red and for his fighter. So apart from the information gap of not knowing what enemies were where, what spells were going to do what, how did the seed feel otherwise?
It was really not that bad progression-wise. I didn't know what any of the spells did though, so I was just guessing.
What you did learn through guessing though. Invis-8 is your friend. Max Evade on one cast for your whole party. It's pretty
Yeah, that and the nuke, the single target nuke, because you don't really use it as an AOE that
Yeah.
often. So it was pretty useful as a single target.
good. Absolutely. And you didn't have it, but Wall 8 was available at level 6. That was an AOE ribbon every fight,
Wow.
basically. Yeah. I think that was the best magic that you missed. The tail was in the waterfall if you wanted to promote. And the mermaids had the adamant, which would turn into the Saber 6 gauntlet. So those were
Oh.
like the two pieces of the puzzle that you were missing to get through. And Burt Reynolds and Thundercloud had them and were able to make very quick work. Because at the end of the day, when they were, because Burt and Thunder were kind of holding hands for a lot of the seed, and where they weren't that. I predicted it going a little bit quicker. I know I called like when they were going in that they would be a certain minutes apart. I figured you and Fizzle would kind of be right behind them, and then Fizzle kept digging chests, and you were being a little bit more judicious and careful as you were going through your fiend dungeons.
Mhm.
But at one point it was still pretty relatively close at about, I want to say like the 30-40 minute mark. But I gave you guys as free a seed as I could. You got an early floater, you got free evade cap, you had Ice 8, Meteor 8. I tried.
You did give me an 8-pack of meat, so I do have to congratulate you on the seed.
And you did kill them with meat. Meat Party 2020, where were you?
Heck yeah.
So
Other than chaos being bad, I was on my first try. It was really good, but I was gassed by the time I got to Tiamat too. I think
yeah.
that's where I was like, yeah, Topher's kind of. Eh.
So, Hypes, I wanted to ask, the last time I was really playing a lot of competitive races with you was way back during, like, when I was starting out during the Chaos Rush tournament. I hadn't seen you in a lot of SRL races for this since then, so I don't know, like, how much sort of full Topher or how much, like, traditional FFR experience you had since then.
I haven't played a full seed in a very long time. So I don't think I've done a full Topher in like 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, this probably reminded you pretty starkly of how, like, your magic will only get you so far, and ultimately to close the seed out, you do need to find a way to buff a melee character with a good weapon.
Yeah, I couldn't. I guess I didn't see many buffing spells that were great, so I was kind of looking for levels. I don't know how to get levels efficiently on Enemizer, so I ended up just taking Warmech.
You were the only on-screen runner to take on Warmech, and the it didn't really work out for you the first time because you just got a bunch of nuclears in the face.
Yeah, I got triple nuclear.
Yeah,
What sprite was Warmech?
Peds.
There's
Oh.
a P.
yeah, we had the Warpede.
And then I
Alright.
had a Warmech sprite in Mirage that was just running from me. I had no clue what that was.
Yeah, and by the way, enemy morale was scaled, which is an uncommon flag, so it could scale about 20% up or down.
Yeah, watching because every runner on stream saw a Warmech sprite, and every runner, I think there was at least a full second to like 2 to 3 second pause. It's just like, why are there 2 Warmechs in this fight?
Yep.
And I think Fizzle, I think you saw where there was a Warmech, like 2 fighters or 2 or 3 fighters and a bad man.
Yeah,
It's just like, that looks terrifying.
can confirm was terrified.
So a flag we didn't bring up too much in our interviews, but we were commentating a lot during the run, was Orb EXP over item scaling EXP, and we were talking about how you went through Sky without any orbs lit yet, Fizzle, so you were soaking EXP, but like 50% less than you maybe could have been.
I have no idea. Like with Enemizer, I have no context or idea for what I have and what I'm getting versus what I'm not getting. and I felt like I was still getting at the rate I wanted to be getting at without any idea of how to actually get through Topher at the end of the game, because I had ice and meat, and then a lot of question marks for how I leveraged that into a chaos kill. So
Yeah, that's kind of how we were rationalizing it. We think like what's going through the runners' heads, like how are they evaluating not just like the Enemizer and Spellcrafter, but how these things play together with the other flags that are on, and how do they construct a winning strategy. And some things were bound to fall by the wayside with all the information being plugged into your brain.
I think if I had to do that over again, I would have identified immediately like where the saber spell was for later, so I could have gone back and got it with red, or if I had promoted early, gone back and got it with ninja. Because I was really banking on, well, I have a black mage, I'll just go to where temper is and I'll buy temper. But there wasn't.
Yeah, One Fine Day unfortunately told us that temper is not an assured spell in this spell book.
Saber is, though.
I think that thieves would be great in Enemizer or Spellcrafter.
Oh, this was 180% a thief seed.
Yeah, except for like I'm pretty sure one of the times I got like 4 unrunnables on Earth Floor in a row. But other than that, it was great. It would have been great for a thief.
The guaranteed saber presence is probably, with not guaranteed temper, is probably a little mini buff for them. But there's still the HP issues. There's still, Chaos and Warmech and whomever. Like, there were a lot of non-elemental AoEs or just super high scaled elemental AoEs coming out. So the fighter hit point pool was super relevant.
Yeah, and Burt Reynolds was the only featured runner that ran a thief party with thief, white, double black, and learned that lesson pretty quickly, that the ninja, while damage output with the katana is equitable with a fighter, the amount of damage they can take is no more bueno.
Well, those fiends, you just had to kill them before they killed you. I don't think HP mattered to an extent, but you just had to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before the Cure 7 in Chaos's case.
Yeah, I saw that when I got hit by a slow 2, and then I found the Cure 7, and I said, okay, yep, time to reset.
I was really hoping that in your last fight, or one of the fights that you had, that you'd try to for a crit loop with your unarmed white mage.
Yeah.
Which has a 0.5% chance to crit or something.
Yeah.
Plus,
and so you just
my white mage was on the top slot.
Yeah, it'd be real hard to do, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna go around the horn and give Randomania's channel back. Hypes Nova, you got any final thoughts on this seed? Enemizer, Spellcrafter, coming back to FFR. We had some old faces show up in chat, so
I'm gonna play more.
there you go. Spring tournament hype.
The spirit.
Fizzle. You got any
I don't know where I
final
am,
thoughts?
I don't know where I am or what I'm doing, but I really want a burger for some reason.
Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's not always this.
It's never this.
This is well and truly a different game, at least different than the one our fans who tune into the spring tournament or play themselves will be seeing over the course of the next few months.
Absolutely. And our first place finisher, our winner of tonight's race, Thundercloud. Final thoughts, man.
I'm just happy that I got me 8.
Team meat.
He ate some meat.
One fine day, our third comms on the crew, our subject matter expert on the Spellcrafter Enemizer. Any final thoughts, man?
Nothing in particular. Just I'm glad to show off this feature, and would like to see a tournament run with this flag set, or not necessarily this flag set, but with the Spellcrafter and Enemizer. That would be pretty interesting, but it's obviously not happening in the spring tournament. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think a tournament with these flags would be interesting to watch. I think you would have to excuse yourself from participating in the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I would recuse myself.
Like, hey, everybody, come play this game I made. I'm gonna play a tournament. I'm gonna beat you all at it because I'm the only one that knows the rules. CoCom's Cheese. You want to take us home, man?
Yeah, sure. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is the Final Fantasy Randomizer Community Weekly Thursday race that we have on Randomania, at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's on the screen. And we'll be doing that weekly. You can also tune into our other races, including the announcement race coming up for the co-op. And thank you, first of all, to our trackers and restreamer, the people behind the scenes doing that great work, Danny and Dengwu. Thank you, Randomania, again for hosting us, and thank you to my co-coms, Ray Fates Caleb. You can follow everyone who saw us streaming or playing today through the commands and chat, so go ahead and give those folks a follow.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.